So when can I kiss Razumdar?
Oh, you,
Okay, so we are here interviewing some devs from Elder Scrolls Online. I am so excited because I'm a day one player and
yes.
I'm like not fangirling. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to be professional. But let's start with some introductions. You all should know me. I'm a Lady Confetti because this is my channel. Like, hello. So why don't we start with Jason?
Hi, I'm Jason Barnes. I am the Associate Design Director on Elder Scrolls Online, mainly in charge of the content and quests and helping the narrative team. And yeah, that's my team.
And let's go over here.
I'm Nick Giacomini,
Yes.
game director for the Elder Scrolls Online. I uh, don't really have a day to day; it changes quite a lot, but I'm responsible for the vision and the what and the why for the game, and I work across teams to try to achieve that vision.
Yeah. So I mentioned before I'm a day one player. A little bit of background with my experience with ESO. So it came out around the time when I was in college. So I was still working at GameStop. I mentioned before I was working at GameStop for my first midnight. But when Elder Scrolls Online, we did a contest for the collector's edition,
Nice.
and somehow employees were able to enter. I won. I did not cheat, by the way. It was fair and square. Look up on my record. Yeah, so I started to play. I was just like, because my thing, I love to explore. So I was just like, I wonder what if I can do, because my first Elder Scrolls was Skyrim. And I was like, I just want to explore the world, but I also want other people around who are other players. So Elder Scrolls Online was perfect. And then as an RA, I actually used the community aspect to run programs, because a lot of my floors were introverts. So it was perfect. So it was no like obligation to physically show up to spaces. And for the most part, it was free to play. So everybody could just, as long as you had a computer, and if not, we rented one, and we all got to go together and do quests and stuff like that. So that's kind of my background with that. Yeah. Not me losing my page. So we got a little sneak peek during the Xbox showcase for the Return of the Thieves Guild. Is there anything you all could tell me about it? Just, anything that you can tell that's not under NDA that will get you fired.
Yeah.
Or that he will fire
Yeah,
somebody.
I was gonna say he fired me for saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Do you want me to describe it or?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, I love this mic, by the way. So the Thieves Guild, it's the Return of the Thieves Guild. It's actually a continuation from the original Thieves Guild from 2015.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, but it's essentially a new faction of the Thieves Guild is being formed inside of Daggerfall. And we have some returning characters from the original come over, and the player gets to see kind of like what that means when a new Thieves Guild faction forms in a new area, kind of tackle some unique challenges and whatnot. And one of the fun things that we got to do is look at kind of what we call the justice system in ESO, sneaking around, pickpocketing, things like that. And we've added some new additions. Just like we have a new type of like this item that you can use as a powder that you can throw at guards and distract them. Yeah. In addition to that, we have more interactable things in the world. So before we had these baskets that you could hop into, but now we have things like plants or hay barrels that you can jump into or hide behind curtains.
Yeah.
So as you're going through and doing the stealth like thieving missions, there's a lot more improvements to the base game, just kind of justice system overall. And that's just a tiny portion of the new stuff coming out. Yeah. Season 1 and kind of our shift to seasons, we're introducing tons of new content. We're adding new systems, we're adding new stories. There's a lot we'll cover, I'm sure, but just a really high level. In addition to the Thieves Guild stuff, we also have a new quest line with Sheogorath.
Yeah.
Of him returning, and he's basically going on vacation and becoming immortal just to see what it is like to go to a cheese festival and what it tastes like. And that just goes sideways very quickly. But we also have a bunch of new systems that we're introducing because of the seasons model and allowing us to experiment with more stuff. New daily type of quests that have this narrative element called favors. We have these new rumors that are just, I call them narrative scavenger hunts in a way. They're mysteries that we don't tell you exactly where to go. You have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We have a new dynamic encounters, which are these just kind of new things that'll spin up in the world, like farms getting attacked, and you have to save the horses, or vampire lords showing up, and you have to group up to find them. And then last, well, not last, actually, we have more than that, but I'll cut it here. We have something new called the Sage's Vault, which is our most kind of experimental content for a lot of the more story focused and casual players, where it's more of a puzzle challenge
Yeah.
and trying to decipher secrets of different rooms, and they all have interesting gameplay elements. So we have a lot cooking. Yeah. So
One, does he still have a job? Okay, cool. It's like we don't want anybody fired here. No, I love that because I love like puzzle games. Like I play a lot of cozy games in my free time, so I love that elements of like that, like cozy elements are being added. Especially like that's what I do late at night, so that's really awesome. Glad you have a job. Um, so introduction of seasons, community feedback was really the core that seemed to really drive that focus. So how do you balance like player wants, player needs versus what can practically or realistically work in the game?
Yeah, that's one of the best and most challenging parts of all this. Is there's so much that we want to do, but there's only so much that we really can do, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, we switched to this new model. We've been trying to be a lot more transparent with players. We talked about co-developing with the community, and that's
Yeah.
not just this like this empty promise, right? I hope players are feeling that we're trying to have this roadmap that's really flexible to allow us to react to player feedback, have a say in what's coming and how we're building, the things that are coming. That's really important to us. Um, and there's such a diverse group of players. I mean, you talked about cozy, right? Like, there's a
Yeah.
large segment of our player base that mostly does like housing and things like that. For example, there's some who are very, into challenges and like extremely difficult content. And there's just so many different ways to engage in this game.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to like, we have plenty of ideas, no shortage of things that we want to do, but actually trying to find out what should we do, what can we do, what's the right thing to do for our players right now
Yeah.
is really difficult to do. So yeah, it's definitely a challenging aspect of this, but it's really satisfying and fun. That's one of the best parts. One of my favorite parts about our game, right? I mean, I'm a day one player like you, right?
Yeah.
And it's a home in a way that other genres can't be. It's really satisfying. 12 years in, that we're still like providing like we're still Elder Scrolls Online, but we're changing in really exciting ways. All the things Jason just talked about, right? I mean, Thieves Guild is very iconic. It's very Elder Scrolls. And I think that it's going to feel really familiar to players, but it's also just going to be completely new, novel way to experience it. So yeah, it's a balancing act. We try to do as best as we can to build things for different parts of the player base to the extent that we can, and we're listening to players closely in terms of what they're hoping from us as the developers of this game.
Yeah. And can I say, this is not just, to, I don't know, like, well, I am going to give you your flowers because I will say, like, as a day one player, with community feedback and everything like that, sometimes I'm just like, do they like us? Do they hear us? Do they know we're here? It's just like kind of like in a room, like shouting. It's just like, hey, like this would really help us. Like if you could do this, like balance healing, because I like to heal. If you balance healing and damage, like do you hear us? And like so, I feel like over time, communication has really gotten better.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that as a day one player. And I feel like just at the end of the day, people just want transparency and also just to know that they're being heard. So I just really appreciate like the steps that you all have taken as a team to just really reach out to us and just be like, we do hear you, and like we're not ignoring you, we're doing the thing. So I just really appreciate that transparency.
Thank you. I appreciate I mean, yeah, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate that. A few things, if I can say on that. First, like the switch to seasons, like is very much like that is core of what, like one of the reasons that we're switching is because the chapter model was so limiting in terms of like what we could respond to. It was predictable, certainly, right? But it was all hands on deck for like 18 to 24 months, and it left very little room to respond to feedback like in a timely manner. And I think that was a component of it. And yeah, I mean, we're as a player, like there's so many great games out right now, right? There's just so many to be able to choose from. And as a player, for the games that I play, for the games that I love, like for the games that I choose to devote my free time. That's really precious to me, right? And there's so many options. Like I need to know that the developer has my back, that they're going to do right by me.
Yeah.
And so like we switched to this model so that exactly, we can. Oh, and that's the other thing. I just talked about how this is a home for so many players, right?
Yes.
In a way that others, and if it's our home, which it is, then the player should have a say in how that's built, right? It's our home, and so we're trying to co-develop the game with the community, like in that way. So we are absolutely are listening. We care deeply, and are trying to provide foundational things, and a lot of these things, like you alluded to, that need to be addressed, long-standing issues, change, like evolution, all of that is part of the reason that we switched to this new model.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's really amazing, and I'm just so happy. I'm trying really not hard not to fangirl. I'm so normal, y'all. I promise. So I mean, guess you kind of already talked about this, but I mean, what is kind of your process with improving overall player experience and communication? I feel like you kind of touched on that. I didn't know if you had anything to add.
Sure, I can add a little bit more. I mean, first of all, we've created a new team that this is what their primary focus is
Cool.
listening to players and trying to fix long-standing issues, improve the game, take suggestions, etc. But that's not the only. It's not like, okay, you do this and the rest of us are going to do something else.
Yeah.
We have, like, as you've seen with the increased transparency, and Jason is a regular attendee to the monthly live streams. Like, we're trying to communicate with players, let them know what we're thinking, not just to show, but so that we can then hear, like, what players are like. What do you think about this? We want to know. We want to hear, so that we can actually change things. And I think that also comes through with our approach to PTS. PTS is limited because it's closer to launch. So by that point, there's less that we can do. But that's another area where we are trying really hard to take that feedback and show players, like no, we changed all of these things because of what you've done. Thank you for providing that feedback. That's really helpful and important, because we want this to be as exciting as possible to players, right? So we're trying to just do that increasingly. And the roadmap, again, like I think that this is a really good example. We showed the roadmap in January for like the next year, basically. And we told players that we traditionally haven't done that, right? We're usually pretty closed-lipped about it, and then we have this big announcement and reveal and excitement. And that I feel like that has its place. Sometimes it is exciting for the big reveal, but it's, again, really limiting when we say, hey, look at all this stuff, and it's coming, in a few months. There's not that much we can react to at that point, right? Whereas if we show that longer runway, here's what we're thinking, but hey, this may change. That, again, is freeing and allows us to adjust accordingly. And I think a great example of that is the class mastery system that's launching tomorrow. So subclassing launched last year, right? And on the one hand, the system was really cool, like in theory and in application in many ways, where players could mix and match the different skill trees. Like I had fun with an elementalist, for example, and some of the builds the players did were really cool. But it was really like there were some builds that were just very overpowered, right? Across healing, across tanking, across damage, like across the board. And so a lot of players, myself included, like felt like, well, now I need to play this when I wanted to just play like my Sork, and now I'm playing.
Kind of felt cornered, like back then.
Right, exactly. It's very reasonable, like, feedback from players, and something that a lot of us felt personally that we wanted to address. And so we decided, all right, let's take this on with the class refresh, right? We're going to update mechanically, visually, and while we're doing that, we're going to bring these, the pure classes, like, up to the same level that these builds at subclassing did, which made sense to us at the time we announced it. And one of the primary pieces of feedback that we got from it was, wait, hold on, you're telling me I have to wait for like 2 years for this to be solved? Which, very reasonable feedback and helpful for us to hear. And so we pivoted. Like, class mastery was not on the roadmap in January. We had no plans for us to be doing this. And the team, they pivoted, they heard the feedback, and so we got together, sat down, and like, what can we do about this so that we can allow players to actually want to do just want to be a Templar, or want to be a Sork, or want to be a Warden, or whatever, like, feel like they don't have to subclass. And so that's where the class mastery system came. It was in direct response to that feedback. And again, it was fast, right? Like, just in a few months, we were able to come up with this system and turn it around and respond to player feedback. So, So those are a few, like, other ways that we're trying to be take player feedback more into consideration, be more transparent about this.
Can I ask, just like this wasn't on my question, but just thinking about that, like, so when you're working on like player feedback and something becomes like a priority, it's like, okay, let's jump that up, to the priority list. And you're also still working on new content and have all this stuff doing. Is that like, does that stress the team out, or you just have such a big team that you don't really feel it?
It can stress the team out.
It can.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things that shifting over from like the chapter model, the best way I keep putting it is when we were doing chapters, it was a giant block, right? And you could chip little pieces off, but that block was always moving forward. You couldn't really make a lot of adjustments.
Yeah.
And with the new seasonal model, it's more like having a bunch of chess pieces that you can kind of adjust and move around. But for the team, that's new. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, we're working on this, and now we're hearing this player feedback, so we need to shift over here and move it around. So there's been a little bit of a learning curve for sure. But I think it's also come with excitement. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, hey, we are trying to get to do new things and experiment a little bit. So there is going to be kind of this learning curve where we've been doing this forever now. I mean, I joke, I've been at the company almost 18 years now.
Wow.
And so I saw ESO before anyone else did and everything. And, we've always, even from the beginning, we kind of had a model that we operated under and a cadence. And this is unlike anything we've really done before. So there is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's really exciting. It's invigorating. It's a lot of things for the team just to be like, okay, cool. We know we're doing this. We know we're adjusting to this. But, there's always like, okay, well, how do we do this? How do we move these pieces around so they all fit? And we're still learning. We're still kind of going along and figuring it out. But so far, it's been exciting. Like the team's really excited. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming out. And and again, we may stumble here and there, and that's totally okay. And we'll be transparent about it. And but yeah, it's a really new and exciting time for ESO in general. So it's a transition, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Thank you. What is your favorite ESO memory? It could be in game or behind the scenes as developers. You take a beat.
Yeah, I've got a. Do you want
Go
to?
ahead. I mean, I can. So my favorite memory, this was back when I was a designer, because like I said, I've been on the project forever, and I kind of worked my way up as a regular designer and then the lead and now to where I'm at. But we had this overall arc with this specific character named Darian. And it was something that has gone on for years and years and years. And I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't played the game. But it was something that we brought this character in. We had no idea what players were going to react to. He vanishes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we kind of gave some hints, and people were really excited to see him back. He came back. Some other stuff happened. And then last year, we got to bring him back again and resolve some long-standing questions and things like that. But the fun thing about it was we've been toying around with romance and introducing that into the game, and we explored that a little bit, and it went over very well for the players who have been waiting for this for a very long time. So it is on our list. It is something we absolutely want to continue exploring, but it's such a long payoff, like since the beginning of the launch, and the like amount of shout out to everyone on Tumblr. Like, I love my Tumblr people. But there is a dedicated fan base there. And just like to see the pure joy of it. And it's like, we've been waiting 12 years for this. Yeah, exactly. It was just like, it was so fun and just so satisfying to see for just something that started as a joke so early on and to like develop into this like serious thing and have this payoff that meant so much to people. And I love it because there's like Discords dedicated to the character and everything. It's hilarious. But yeah, like just stuff like that. It's just like, it's so satisfying to see that and see the impact that these characters and stories make on the players and how it leaves a lasting impression. Like that to me, that's what I love about this job more than anything else. So.
It's hard to choose like single one, so I'm going to cheat and talk about a few that stand out to me. But day one as a player, like certainly stands out. Where I built my computer to be able to play Elder Scrolls Online. I was, little did you know, Jason, I was a fan of you like before. Like, but I was following right. I was following, all the interviews, like everything that was being released, and stepping in like day one, like didn't disappoint me. I was just overwhelmed, right? I remember being in Oregon. I remember like everything being voice acted. It was just
Yeah.
beautiful. And it just took my breath away. I planted myself in front of a bard for about an hour, and that's not an overstatement. Like I was just sitting there, like listening and watching this bard for an hour. People were coming and going, and I had not felt so immersed in a game
Yeah.
in such a long time that it was just magical, and that really stands out as a player. In my journey, like I think uh, getting this job like stands out a lot. It's just like it's
Yeah.
suddenly like right this game
helps.
that I had loved. This game that I'd loved. I remember, back in 2019, like I applied for the job. It's a very long like interview process, and I I thought there's no I thought I wasn't going to get it. And then when they called me up to say, hey, do you want to join? I remember like,
Yes.
yes, I would very much like to join. Thank you. And then hanging up the phone, I'm like, ah! Exactly,
Yeah.
jumping up and down with my wife, and it was just like a really cool moment for me as well. Recently, I would say the reception to everything that's been happening in season zero has
Yeah.
been just like really, because we're changing so much, and we don't know how, like the night market is a good example. Like, yes, we thought that this was going to be new, interesting, exciting, but this was not, we'd never done anything like this before.
Yeah.
And so we were really nervous going into it. And I think in the beginning, like a lot of players didn't know what to make of it. It's like, this is so hard, this is so overtuned. Like, and then a lot of players gave it a shot. And like, as the days went on, like, it was like, oh, this is so fun. We saw time played in the game increase to levels we haven't seen in like 5 years. And just seeing that with that, seeing it with the 20 plus player improvements, seeing the reaction to the Dragon Knight has just been like really, it's been really as developed. Like we care so much about like and it's not, we're not, there's not like ego. It's not like, oh, we're just doing this because we think it's really cool. Like
Yeah.
we want the players to love this,
Yeah.
and to see that come through. Like Jason said, we're not perfect. We're going to stumble. Like I don't expect we're going to get everything right. We haven't,
Yeah.
and we're not going to. But like seeing that joy, seeing that passion, seeing the community excited about all this stuff has been it's been wonderful, phenomenal. So
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for that vulnerability. I'm glad you got hired. I'm glad they picked you.
I made some calls.
You made some calls, yeah. You're like, yeah. Okay, so when can I kiss Razumdar?
Oh, I can't give any firm deadlines. This is a question we get surprised. Well, maybe not surprisingly.
No, no.
A lot. It's funny because we joke about it a lot, but
Yeah.
like romance in NPCs is something that absolutely is something we're talking about internally. We really want to give the full experience, and that is when you're role playing a character and you've been around these characters, especially Razumdar.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Let's give people what they want. So.
Yeah.
Nothing set in stone, but absolutely, we are very aware of
Tumblr.
Tumblr is a great example. Yeah,
That might be
yeah.
my
There's
fault.
some fan art. No, that it's just in general though, like actually doing it right and developing like a proper system with it, and you may see some things that touch on it here and there as we kind of poke around with it. But that's all I can give you. But yeah, we're very aware of it, and as a fan of games where you can smooch all the characters, I am very excited to introduce something like that. So we're talking about it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time. I hope I didn't fangirl too much. But it was really awesome, and I'm actually going to share this with my residents because I mean we've all graduated by now. But this is for it to like come full circle and be like, guys, look, because half of them are like married and like have jobs and left the country. So this is going to be like a really full circle. So I really appreciate y'all's time. Thank you for a little sneak peek into seasons. I can't wait for the Thieves Guild and can't wait to see what y'all do next.